podcast where I sound like a fucking idiot. I can't talk. I sound like Stevie Richards. This sucks. This show is gonna suck today. I'm sorry. I ruined it. I can't talk. Shit. Welcome to the Ollie podcast. Sound like Stevie Richards. Welcome to the Ollie podcast. Sound like Stevie Richards. Shit.
You're tuned into Too Sweet Elite with Andrew and AJ, presented by the AEP.
Shit.
Welcome back to another episode of Too Sweet Elite with your boy Big Match AJ and All Elite Andy. AJ, that's the new theme, bro. You have helped create it. It's the new theme.
No.
I love it. I love every minute of it. It's the best.
It was funny the first time.
Nah, it's still pretty catchy. Stevie Richards sounds great. I like the theme behind it. It's got a great story to it. It was good for at least one more
My voice
episode.
isn't completely back yet still, so.
Nah, you sound like $1 million, dude. How you been?
I'm good. Like, nothing new, really. I've been kind of just doing nothing. So, I don't know. What's up with you, man?
Oh,
you're almost done with school.
Yeah, dude. I graduate this Saturday. Had to do a presentation and some other shit earlier today. But, yeah, I'm wrapping everything up. Not so busy. I won't be so busy in a couple of days, but for right now, definitely very busy. Have a lot of family coming into town, so a lot of fun stuff going on, but still, I have one last project to do that I have not yet started.
Ah.
And it's due by Friday. But I feel like that's necessary for me. I've done it with every semester where, like, I just have one big project that I wait till the very end and still get a good grade on, and I anticipate the same results. So either way, I'm graduating. I'm not too worried about it. Let's talk about AEW. Kenny Omega getting a challenge from Andrade. He's officially laid down the challenge. Did you see anything about this?
Yeah, I saw the tweet. He wants to fight him at Triple Mania, right? But, like, isn't Triple Mania far away? Didn't that just happen?
I'm not sure that he laid down a date, but I think that's the speculation people might be having. But I know that Kenny didn't. He said, "Give me some time on this." So it seems like
he was just like, "LOL, I'm busy."
Yeah, they're laying the groundwork for. So if Triple Mania is a ways off, I have absolutely no idea whether it's soon or later. But it seems like they're not doing this right away, but they're getting the promotion out for it right now, which is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think this is a really good match to do. It sells automatically. It's great for AEW because they're able to bring Andrade, maybe not even in, but your fans get to see a match they really want to see between Kenny and Andrade without necessarily having to sign him. And this could be a big match for Andrade because it's a good way to bring that title back to AAA.
Yeah, actually, you have a good point there. Though I don't know. I don't know if they're happy with Kenny as a champion. Though I feel like that would, if it is a long ways away, then that makes sense to have him drop it.
Well,
then
he's just had it for a while now, so they have to be like not upset about the situation, but he's come back and defended it a couple times, which has been great. But I think they're probably in a position where they're like, all right, let's kind of get our title back into our promotion, especially because if it is the major the title in that promotion, I have no idea whether it's the big one or if they have other ones in AAA that they can rely on with this one being outside of it. But I from what I've read, it's the championship, so at least that's how they're promoting it with Kenny holding it, and maybe that's just kind of the idea there,
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I don't not know enough about AAA.
Yeah, they have great talent there though, so it's a cool matchup. It's cool to see Andrade over there. Very interesting stuff going on over there. And there's a lot of, there's another promotion, I think it's going to be based in America, that a lot of AEW talent have been featured on. They're going to be doing their first pay-per-view. I saw something about this posted in our group chat the other day. I don't know if you saw it, but, Tay Conti's going to be involved, the Lucha Brothers, and then Andrade, obviously, Rush. It might not be an American-based talent. It might be, a new Mexican-based talent, but that's interesting because Andrade is still representing AAA, but potentially wrestling for. I think this company's run by Rush, so
it's Roosh,
whatever, dude. I could be way off in that whole thing right there, but let's talk about the copyright situation AEW's got going on because apparently Botchmania guy is all mad because he's gotten a couple of copyright strikes due to AEW content. I had a little bit of a feeling about this, my feelings were a little different prior to us getting ready to start this episode, right? Because I could understand him being annoyed if it was just directed towards him, but now as we go to start this episode, I don't think we're live on YouTube because we did an episode a year ago that had AEW content in it and got content strike. And I don't know if we'll be live or not. I don't know how it works with YouTube. Haven't looked into it enough, but just saw it literally 10 minutes before we did the show. So I'm still not mad. Like, I'm almost less mad about it because I see that Matthew was screwed by this. This seems to be like a thing that they probably just implemented, either a new program or a new person in charge of whatever they're doing. It doesn't seem that major to me. It seems like something they'll kind of backtrack on as they'll see the negative reception to it. But that's where the negative reception has to come from, right? Because if you don't let them know that this is a shitty thing to do, then they'll just continue doing it. But platforms like Botchamania, and I think even our podcast, because this goes back to our early episodes, it was like episode 33 and 34, so maybe we were actually showing like
I think we were back then.
Yeah, and so I don't know if we did on those specific episodes. I know that we have. I don't know if it was those specific episodes, but just with that being the issue, like, I understand what they're doing, and maybe it's a new program thing, or maybe that's the stance they want to take, which is super if that's what they want to do. I'm glad we only did it for 2 episodes and not 100 like Matthew did, because that sucks for him and what he's doing. I think Botchamania is a fine platform. I could see companies taking issue with it. It would be weird if AEW did, though.
Yeah, probably it would be weird, actually, because like they seem like they should be open to that, because so many people like really like Botchamania.
Well, and Tony Khan doesn't take criticism like that type of stuff very lightly. I've seen, and this might even be maybe not even a backlash towards Botchamania, right? Botchamania and like our platform and any other platform that got hit from this is likely just a side person who got hit, right? I feel like this goes back to that girl. We might have talked about her on an episode here a couple months back where she was critiquing the final of the last pay-per-view, and Tony Khan responded to her on social media and kind of like shot back at her. And she continued kind of doing the same type of spiel of just shitting on AEW, very Cornet-like, but in a millennial-type voice and situation. And so I feel like this could be Tony retaliating against one fan and kind of hitting a whole scope of people without thinking about it, where he was like, let's upgrade our copyright situation so that way fans can't be like her and just shit all over us. Well, and then it turns out it's going to be a bigger problem for everyone else who wasn't necessarily shitting on the product at the time, right? And like, what if we go back and see on those episodes, like, what if we did it for 5 episodes, but on those 2 episodes we were like shitting on the product? Wouldn't that be nuts? Wouldn't that be nuts? I'm not saying that's definitely what happened, but think about it. With the Botchamania stuff, it's definitely like being showcased in poor light, right? And Tony doesn't love that. Like, we've seen it with him responding to some like maybe 20-something-year-old girl just shitting on the end of the pay-per-view.
But I feel like he would have also, like, he's a wrestling fan. He must have, like, watched Botchamania himself, right?
I agree. So I wonder, again, if it's just, like, him trying to go after 1 or 2 creators and it's kind of now become a thing across the platform or what. But, yeah, very interesting. I'm not too worried about it. I don't think that... We got to go to copyright school now. That's what YouTube says. So I'm gonna let you do that. Let's talk about Chris Jericho. He wants to see Samoa Joe in AEW. So do we.
I do too.
There's not a whole lot to unpack there, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing to see Jericho of all people talking about it. Seems like a good way to promote a guy coming in that you can't promote him coming in, right? There's only one necessary way to do it. Maybe on podcasts like Jericho's doing. Seems inevitable to me.
I don't know. I don't know how much like AEW wants to play Moneyball after these last few signings, but I think they will. But like I don't know if like Impact wants to throw a lot of money out there to get him back to Impact, then I could see that being possible. And also ROH really needs talent, and if they wanted to sign a big name, that would be the name to sign.
There was a report that came out today that MLW is trying to also lock in some high level talent. So there could be a lot of money thrown
That's right.
around.
They got a Vice show, right?
Yeah, I think that between those 3 though, like they would all have to partner up against AEW to have that type of AEW Tony Khan money. Where when it was WWE going up against AEW for a contract, it's a much bigger story, right? It's a much bigger difference in pay than maybe what Impact is able to pay MLW, any of those companies. So I think from that standpoint, AEW has a leg up here. It's necessarily, do they want to pay him as much? And utilize him in that capacity. I think they'd be dumb not to. I think he's a
I
name
agree.
that crosses over a little bit into the mainstream wrestling world, but it hits deep into that category of what the AEW fan is right now. And we'll talk more about it when we talk about the Bischoff thing, but that's kind of what the AEW fan would love to see, a Samoa Joe come out and challenge Kenny at the end of a pay-per-view. Like, just imagine the buzz that creates at the end of a show. And that then crosses into WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, like so many different companies that guy worked for. So, seems stupid not to.
Yeah.
Kip Sabian's going to need surgery. That's what he tweeted out. This seems like it could be a work because...
Probably a work.
Or maybe it already happened previously and now he's like working back from it. But I'm not totally sure. It could be like a work to actually for him to get surgery. Either way, it was kind of just put out there kind of weird. The way he had responded about it. Seems like him and Miro not going to be as tight as people think, though.
Yeah, I was assuming that like it would go on for a little bit longer before they officially like split off and had their match or whatever, but I don't know.
His tweet indicated like, I'm not happy with Miro, so yeah, it seems like something that will be not as long drawn out as we thought, which makes all the sense in the world, but initially looked kind of funny. One of the last bits of news or just interesting conversation I want to talk about is Eric Bischoff apparently called AEW too indie, said they need to focus more on just making talent feel larger than life, says that outside of the top few guys, everybody feels the same. And I have to agree with him in some senses here, but I'm curious what your thoughts are.
I don't like Eric Bischoff. First of all, he gives me like shock jock vibes. So like I don't like take these comments from him like too seriously. Like when Jim Cornette shits on AEW, like you want to get people talking and responding to whatever you're talking about, like we're doing now. And I don't know. Sure, kind of, but like not really. Like they're still building stars, and like even the guys who he would probably call like indie looking or like have a lot of potential. I don't know. I don't really care.
Well, the stars that they're building do have the same type of feel, right? Like a lot of guys, in my opinion, feel relatively the same that they're building up. I think that nobody feels like a major loser in AEW, which is a good thing, but there's also no one who necessarily separates themselves outside of the top like 4 or 5 guys, in my opinion. So I can understand what he's saying to an extent, and I also get your point of like the shock jock type thing. That feels more of a Cornette thing to me than Bischoff, because I feel like Bischoff actually offers some type of critique that is relevant to an extent, and I think this critique is like they do cater themselves to this, maybe not the smallest audience, but a smaller audience, but a loud audience that is consistently letting their voices be heard on social media, and that's kind of the audience AEW caters to. And at the same time, some of these talent don't necessarily feel like Jungle Boy to me doesn't feel like someone that should feel larger than life at this point based upon how he's been booked, because he's just average like a lot of the other average guys. So
I agree with that too, but like I don't know, I get that like he offers something, but like Cornette offers something too. It's just a matter of how you take it. Like they always critique it. I don't know. Just don't fuck Eric Bischoff, dude. He's a carny.
Wow,
and I don't know why they
like
bring
Bischoff.
him on. I don't know why they bring him on their TV when he shits on them all the time.
Because he's a TNT guy. He's got
I guess
cred.
yeah.
Nah, I don't know. I think because like I said, his critique is much more balanced, whereas Cornette's is just straight up shitting on the product and specific talent individually at certain points just because he can, and it's kind of been that way start to finish with him. But let's talk about Dark Elevation, BTE, any of that type of stuff that they put on YouTube. Whatever you watched this week, if you watched anything this week, AJ, because I know you've been a little busy. I've been a little busy, but I caught a majority of the vlog stuff at least. I
caught BTE and I caught like 30 minutes of Elevation, and then I kind of just started like being like, okay, that's a squash match. And it wasn't really, they were never really squash matches, but it was like you could tell, okay, that's who's gonna win, that's who's gonna win, that's who's gonna win, that's who's gonna win, and it was that way for every single one of them. So at a certain point, I kind of just zoned out, because I was also like watching Elevation because I like the promos that they usually do, but there were none. It was only matches. It was match like commercials, but like nothing promo wise to like that was really weird to me. Maybe they wanted to make it shorter. Maybe they want all the AEW Dark Elevations to be around an hour and a half now. So when they do it in front of a real audience or whatever, or I don't know how it works, but like maybe they're just like on certain tapings they like have too much shit going on, so they're just gonna do that to make sure it's an hour and a half. I don't know. Anyways, also, yeah, being the elite was good, but like if you have anything to say about Elevation, you probably should. I don't know why I continued on.
Elevation was alright. I kind of did the same thing you did, and I kind of just did it to see if you had missed a spot. You know what I mean? Because you said, "Oh, I skipped through it," and it didn't look like there were any hype packages from anything that I saw. And I kind of did the same thing, and I was like, there isn't any hype packages. My assumption is like the intern must be off this week. Their hype package guy must have got sick like you did, and he just couldn't make any hype packages this week. AJ, that's all. You know. No, I really don't know, but I wish that they would have, because I know that they have some like canned. They have to, because they have so much talent. They have so many, and maybe that's it. Maybe because they did Road 2, they didn't want to do more taped stuff on this. But I think that it would have helped this show, because you're right. A lot of these matches, if not all of them, were just talent against other talent that you know. It's almost like signed versus unsigned talent, and you know what's going to happen there, especially on a platform like Dark Elevation. Sure, you could potentially get some kind of crazy upset, but nothing like that was anticipated on this show, and that's where those promo packages help do something. The show itself was not bad, but you just want to see more with that. BTE, I'm there with you that I thought it was a pretty good show. I think they did a good job. And like that show feels more just like it, like I watched it right before we started the podcast, and I was having a great time watching that, and then Sammy's vlog. But yeah, they do a good job. What did you think of BTE?
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I watched it Monday, and I'm trying to think. And I remember watching it. I thought this too, so maybe this is what my thoughts on it. I thought it was like really filler episode-y. Like there wasn't like a big moment. The Dark Order segment didn't even have John Silver in it.
John Silver, no Hangman. But like, Tay Conti was in there, and she said she's part of the group this week because she lost.
Yeah.
So, and I don't take that as her officially becoming part of the Dark Order, but
she's just a loser as well.
It adds to that situation of her potentially actually joining that group as an official member, and who knows, maybe we'll get corrected again and have to find out that she is actually an official member. But no, this was I agree with you to an extent. Like, it was a little bit fillery, and that brings to me my second point. Like, I had a lot more fun watching Sammy's vlog. It's a lot more sophomoric, like high school type comedy between just a bunch of guys hanging out at the BTE tapings and sort of doing skits and shit that are, you either love it or you hate it, right? But to me, I popped for like 4 or 5 different things in that episode, and loved every minute of it. And they introduced me to different characters and stuff that I never would really care about at all. In some, and it's like some of it are backstage guys and stuff that are just happen to be a part of his show that really popped me. So you should start watching it, dude. It's fun.
I'm probably gonna.
It's a good stuff. So what'd you think of the Road 2?
Oh yeah, Road 2. You didn't put it in the notes, and I was like, I feel like there's something missing, and then I didn't correct you because I didn't remember. And again, I forgot.
Well, we talked about Dustin having the face paint on.
Yeah, so. It was really good though. It was actually really well done. I hope that they show like at least some of that video package on Dynamite. I don't know if they're gonna show the whole thing because it's pretty long, but. I really liked, like we talked about this before, like probably months back, but we like long ass video packages like this that just break down the whole feud. And yeah, this was exactly that. And then we got a QT Marshall promo where he was doing the Tony Soprano, getting therapy.
I like that.
I popped for that, so because he was like throwing money like Tony, and he was wearing that shirt, and yeah, he's Tony Soprano. That's his gimmick. I'm here for it, man.
I wouldn't have been mad at that being put on Dark Elevation, though. You know what I mean? Even with how lengthy it was, like just throwing it maybe in the middle or at the beginning or at the end, and maybe even making that the new theme of Dark Elevation, where you get one like lengthier, almost cinematic type shot thing, because that's to me what it felt like, a little bit more cinematic of a promo than we've gotten in AEW up to this point. But it did really well for QT. I thought it was just interesting. It was different and built up that match as well as and I totally get putting it in Road to Blood and Guts because that's where this match is taking place. But I wouldn't have been mad at it being on Dark Elevation to help that show. But nonetheless, I like what they've done here. The Road 2s are great, and you're right, we like these longer promos. I get why they can't show the whole thing on television. So I appreciate them putting this on YouTube where we can consume it at length and kind of get that going. So yeah, I think that the Road to was great, and sometimes I do them and I don't really anticipate them because they're probably more consistent than I think, but they're somewhat inconsistent, right? Where they're kind of before big shows especially, but once in a while they'll just have a random Dynamite where they do a Road to. So that's where I wasn't necessarily expecting it before this one, but I'm glad we got it and probably should have expected it.
Yeah, I wanted one, but I wasn't sure what to expect because, like you said, sometimes we just don't get them, and it's weird. Like, and they do big events, and you don't always get them for the big events. So I don't know. I don't know like what calls for one, but like definitely this deserved one and needed one. So I'm glad they did it.
Yeah, and I will say that it's probably like only one or two big events that they actually didn't have before, and it might have even been like the early shows at the beginning of the year, right, where they had promoted those Dynamites as really big events, but there might not have been a Road to one or two of those. But and they typically have them, but they don't always have them. And I think the thing that throws me off is, like I said, a Dynamite like 3 weeks ago was just kind of a random Dynamite, but it had a Road to attached to it. So I was like, oh, okay. And I like them though. When they put them out, you almost have to watch them because of what they add to whatever storyline they're covering, or multiple storylines usually.
Yeah, I like, but like in this case, it was interesting that it was only two and it was still like pretty long.
Yeah, well, and there was a lot to cover in there. Like I said, they did a great job with it. So, and the last thing of VT that I liked was Nick Jackson's little
the
trick
basketballs.
shots. Yeah, that was good stuff. And then them having that moment of fear before they went out about their nifty sneakers that they didn't charge right throughout the day. I thought that was hilarious. That was good stuff. So let's talk about Dynamite. They've actually got more than one match show. They've got some stuff going on. And honestly, if they had played just that Road to in pieces and then maybe one more match on the show, I would have been fine with them doing it that way. But they got a couple of matches. Britt Baker's going to be in action. Singles match should be a quick little squash for her, right?
Yeah, I assume.
Maybe give her a good challenge, though, someone who could potentially be a contender down the line. But I more so anticipate just a quick little victory for her while she continues to establish herself.
I mean, anytime it says in action is just like the big red flag of this is a job match.
Right. You never know, though. You never know. Miro's going to be speaking, so hopefully we get a little bit more of a breakdown of what he's got going on. He's been speaking a lot, though, since making his debut even. And he had that bit of a storyline going on with the best friends that I thought helped elevate him a little bit, and he could have bounced back from that, but it's just taken so long with these promos from him every week.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be beating down Darby in the back, like at the same time as cutting a promo. That would be great. I need
You
it.
really want him to kill Darby.
It makes sense, and the longer it takes, the less sense it makes. It's like he should have done this shit ages ago.
I don't disagree.
Darby's been offering open challenges left and right. Like, give me dude, you want to be champion, and Darby's literally just challenging people every other week, and you're not gonna do anything to him. Like, give me a break, Miro.
You're making a good point. I'm just saying.
I know it's ridiculous. We got Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston teaming up to take on Michael Nakazawa and the AEW World Champion, Impact World Champion, and AAA Mega Champion Kenny Omega. What are you thinking? This should be interesting. These guys, Mox and Kingston, should win, right?
I assume because like this is basically a handicap match, right? Like
if this
it's
was
Kenny
Raw,
Omega.
if this was Raw, Nakazawa would pin Eddie Kingston.
You're right. You're right. Maybe it will. Maybe it will be Raw. You don't know. But no, I actually do expect them to like have Nakazawa like wrestle a little bit, but we'll see. I don't know. I don't have like any trust that he's gonna do any offense, but like I'm sure he'll do some. He'll like do a little comeback and then he'll get wrecked. But it should be interesting. Yeah, it should definitely be a Mox and Kingston win, unless they, the Elite cheat. I don't know. That's not really out of the realm of possibility. They do that all the time.
Yeah, or maybe they just sub out Nakazawa before the match and throw someone actually in there. But I don't really know who you would throw in that position. Like maybe Luke Gallows or something. So yeah, Samoa Joe, dude. Like months before his 90 days up. And then we got Cody Rhodes versus QT Marshall. Who do you think's gonna win this one? QT needs to win this, right?
QT, I think so. Yeah, like right, doesn't he?
Unless he loses by DQ or something.
Yeah, but like if ever there was a time to pull the trigger and have him get a win over Cody, or it's now, right? You can now have Cody get his win back whenever. Like it's not a big deal. Like have him look strong right now.
Yeah, I agree for the most part. Like, I wouldn't be mad, and it can't be like a cowardly DQ. It's got to almost be him snapping and just destroying him and not caring necessarily about
Yeah,
winning or
like the 5
losing.
count or
But
whatever.
like maybe he's essentially got him beat, and like because I feel like they're gonna incorporate the cowbell more. Maybe it's just a Dustin thing, but for some reason I feel like they're building to a cowbell match between Cody and QT after Dustin had introduced it. So I would love to see like QT just beat the shit out of him with a cowbell, but. That's me. That's me. I just want to see Cody get beat up. I think no matter what, QT's got to look strong. And it can't be necessarily like he loses clean and then beats up Cody afterwards. That's not looking that strong to me. He's got to win and look strong. Like this is you could really elevate QT Marshall, I think, off of this match, or just cut him off right at the legs. So it's
QT Marshall.
Yeah. Well, I'm not ever going to say it like that.
Me neither.
But yeah, Cody versus him, gonna be a solid match for sure. I'm curious to see how it comes out, and if it's a great match, like that says something about QT. Because Cody, it's hit or miss with important matches, I would say.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
not
you're
bad. I'm not gonna say they're bad.
It's never bad. You're right.
We
It's
put too
like
much
mediocre, though.
we're like, oh, this could be a great elevating match for someone because of what he did for Darby, and he's done for a couple other guys. But then he's had matches with someone like Jungle Boy, and it didn't do as much for him. Is probably a decent example.
But he's gonna win because he's Cody's friend IRL. So.
Oh, so that's what it is. He's gonna put his bro over.
Yeah, it's total nepotism. Cody Rhodes is a piece of shit, and
Wow,
I hope this reality show fails.
Wow,
Fuck it.
AJ.
I'm kidding.
Jeez, get out of here.
No, don't clip it.
All right, and then let's talk about this 4-way tag team match because this is interesting. I don't necessarily know who I pick at. Well, yes, I do. Jurassic Express versus SCU versus Varsity Blondes and the
Yeah.
Acclaimed. With SCU in there, it's kind of a dead giveaway to me. Almost feels like this is not necessary unless they go with the idea of like if Varsity Blondes pins the Jurassic Express, it's not a loss for SCU, but that's a cop out to me.
I didn't think about that, but like I still feel like SCU just did the promo on. It's gonna be SCU.
Yeah, I agree.
It just makes sense for it to be SCU, and even though they shouldn't have done that promo, but even if they didn't do the promo, I'd still be like, fucking course SCU is gonna win because they have the gimmick.
But that's where the promo did so much more to me, like where it's like, okay, you guys are giving away a match. Like, what's the point in this match this week? I guess is my biggest thing. Like, but from the standpoint and everything of probably the Bucks are the ones who got this match made and put SCU up against 3 of the top tag teams to really prove themselves. Like, it does make sense, but it's like so clear cut who's gonna win that match. I hope they open the show with it because it can be a great match with those 4 teams involved, and that's a good way to open the show. Then, of course, they're going to close the show with Blood and Guts, the Inner Circle, taking on the Pinnacle. We know Sammy Guevara is definitely going to start the match, probably with Spears. That would be my guess. Those two seem like the guys you want to be the workhorses in that type of match. This is going to be good, though.
This is going to be crazy.
It's going to be crazy. We still don't necessarily know what to expect in terms of what they're going to just bring in this match because they've sort of not really broken it down, right? They've said there's going to be hints of how it was originally done, but it's going to have AEW's own spin on it, I feel like, so. Yeah,
well, I mean, I think that, like, Jericho was talking about that, right? He did an interview, or he was talking about, like, this is going to be, like, not, like, every guy's not going to be bloody, and it's not going to be, like, hardcore in the way, like, a lights out match is hardcore. It's going to be its own, like, unique thing. And I feel like War Games do have a unique style of hardcore, like, element to it. Like, it is its own match. It's not just a weird Hell in a Cell. It actually does do a something. And they are fun to watch. And, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna pick, by the way, because like I'm gonna assume. I want to say the Inner Circle is gonna win. I don't know if you agree.
I feel like the Pinnacle has to win in the same way QT needs to win, right?
I
to
get
establish
that.
themselves as like the group, the
and
new
I
group.
agree. I just don't think it's happening for some reason. I don't know why.
I wouldn't mind it, and I don't mind either way, but I'd like to see Sammy kind of go the distance and pick up the victory for the Inner Circle if that's the case. Like, I feel like regardless of the team that wins, Sammy is going to be made a star tomorrow. I think that is almost the sole purpose of this match. Like, because it's not the blow-off of the feud. It's not really, like, MJF and Jericho will probably have a singles match that kind of blows off this feud would be my guess. But the whole purpose of this is to make Sammy Guevara look like a star. To make him go from the beginning of the match all the way to the end to do just insane stunts throughout the match. And then if he ends up being the one who, like, comes out on top, then it's even better. And I really like, because they've talked about this submission or surrender. Do you understand what that is? Because you've seen more War Games than me. So is that...
Well, I don't know. I've never seen War Games like that. But they have existed, I'm pretty sure, because I looked up whenever they first said that, back when like Phil was going to go to the Rochester show times. And I like have seen it before in the Wikipedia page. I've never actually seen one. But like... like we were talking about with Ziva, like these matches kind of have always been like different, but people have always been different takes on them.
The one thing that I was confused about in Jericho's interview, like, is this elimination style where we will see people?
No, it shouldn't be. I don't think.
Okay, yeah, well, that's the thing that I guess I might be the only one who doesn't understand that, but I feel like more people don't understand that. And this being like a 5-on-5 match, I think you're right 100% that it's not elimination style, but it was something that, if you've never seen a match like this, or have only seen a couple of them and not really paid much attention to the actual breakdown of the match, then you wouldn't know. But yeah, I'm excited to see it. I do think that Sammy is going to be made into a star, and the match itself is going to be very interesting. Like, there's really no way around that. I was super pumped getting ready to do the podcast, watching more so Sammy's vlog, and just him closing out the vlog, talking about how he's going to have an opportunity to be in another AEW's sanctioned match or whatever. That's a first for AEW. He's done all these types of matches, been involved in so many different types of matches, and it's been first-time matches, and he's been involved in them, which is, I think, very cool. And I think Sammy, again, like, could be one of the biggest stars to come out of this match. I think both teams are going to look great. The match itself is going to be good, and all while this is happening, I'm going to be at a baptism. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. Congratulations, baby Brody.
I'll catch it probably right after, just because I'm pretty pumped for the card and want to see what happens. And then we got the show obviously the next day. But yeah, that's what my Wednesday will look like. But the show itself, like, it's got me, even watching the Road 2s and stuff, I'm like even more so like damn. But it's gonna be fun to catch the show afterwards, regardless. So.
I feel like you're not gonna get spoiled because you're not gonna be like looking around anything, so it should be fine. And unless I DM you all the results as they happen.
I'm just gonna be more pumped, like, when I get the opportunity to watch it. I'm gonna be DMing you like, oh fuck, what's going on? Especially if something crazy happens that's not necessarily being advertised. But I don't really see that. But you never know. Maybe Andrade shows up.
I don't know.
He wants to challenge Kenny, you know what I mean? I don't anticipate it, but something could happen. I totally skipped over our dark sleeper picks too, AJ. Go ahead with your dark sleeper pick.
Pac and Serpentico are wrestling, and I like both of those people.
Yeah, that should be a fun match. Should be interesting. Serpentico, someone that I've covered on WrestleJoy's shining a light on AEW Dark. So we've been taking a break as we close out the semester, but that'll be back next week. So wanted to give a shout out to that. And another person I've wrote about on there, Danny Limelight, will be taking on Dante Martin. This should be really good. Yeah, this should be really good. A great showing for both guys. I don't honestly know who's going to win. I anticipate Dante, but with his brother being out for a while, like, I could see him almost shifting into a Danny Limelight role, and Danny getting an opportunity as a singles. It seems like almost an inevitable thing for me, at least on these shows. Like, and a win over someone like Dante just makes for Danny look better when he puts over someone else next week, right? That's kind of what I see a lot of matches like this look like. But Dante seems like the favorite to me, based upon just his establishment on Dynamite.
I would say so, yeah.
But Danny looked great just a couple weeks ago, so definitely my pick for that match, and should be a fun match to watch. So make sure you guys check out AEW Dark, which is on tonight. Dynamite tomorrow night, great show. We'll be back on Thursday to talk about the AEW Blood and Guts.
With the boys, right?
With the boys, yeah. We're going to have Johnny D and Zevo on, I believe. It'll be a 4-man show. We'll be talking about Blood and Guts and everything that has happened on that show. And it should be a great conversation, I expect. Who knows what the rating will be, but that's not the important part. The important part is
it's going to be high. Oh, hot take. It is going to be a big, huge rating.
It's gonna bump back up. I mean, we don't got Biden wrestling anybody this week, right?
Nope.
So should be. There's no Biden competition. So yeah, Dynamite tomorrow night. Excited for it. That's about everything though, AJ, right? What'd we forget?
Shit, man. Don't ask me. Ask Zevo.
Yeah. Shout out. Well, Zevo will let us know. Johnny D will let us know on Thursday's episode. But that wraps up everything we've got to talk about this week for Dynamite. We're definitely excited for the show. Make sure you guys catch all that additional content, that Road 2, that Sammy Guevara's vlog, BT, all that stuff.
I'm gonna watch Sammy Guevara's vlog when we're done.
You should. I don't know if you'll love it as much as I did, but I freaking loved it. So that's it, man. That's what we got for this week. We'll be back on Thursday to wrap everything up. Until then.